action. So you only get me for a half hour today here on 97.3 ESPN. So get those texts coming in, 609-403-0973, because we got to talk about Kenny Pickett is now a Philadelphia Eagle. CJ Gardner-Johnson spoke to the media today. So all that, and plus a future Hall of Famer retired earlier today. So much to get to, and we only have so much time to get to it here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Like I said, text board is open, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, Kenny Pickett was traded to the Eagles earlier this afternoon. The former Steelers quarterback first-round pick is now in a Birds uniform. And there's two sides to this conversation. One is on the lighthearted side, it's cool. Kenny Pickett grew up an Eagles fan. He's from New Jersey. He's a lifelong Eagles fan, and he got traded to his hometown team. So in that vein, in that sense, I'm happy for him. I'm glad to see a guy, whenever these guys get to play for their hometown team, I think it's pretty cool. I think that, whether it's Corey Clement, whether it is Hassan Reddick, any of these guys, it's a cool side story. But on the field is where it's a little more interesting conversation, because I had spent the last 24 hours campaigning for Ryan Tannehill to be the backup quarterback. Well, obviously, Tannehill is not coming to Philadelphia now. So there goes my whole campaign. My campaign got squashed by the Philadelphia Eagles front office. So what does Kenny Pickett bring to this team? Kenny Pickett brings experience. So he does check that box next to his name. My only concern is that you're bringing in a guy who himself is not the most experienced player in terms of being like a vested veteran. I'm a big believer in having a big-time veteran behind a quarterback who is like Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts is entering his 5th year in the NFL. But I just don't look at Jalen, for me at least, as a guy who is some big-time experienced player. He turns 26 later this year. So, I don't know. I just don't know if I like the idea of having two guys behind Hurts who are younger than he is. Now, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know the dynamics of the quarterback room. Maybe it's better to have younger guys around him versus around Carson Wentz when you need to have older backup quarterbacks around him. Obviously, Pickett is nowhere as athletic as Hurts. He's not as athletic as Justin Fields or Ryan Tannehill. So how much does the Eagles offense have to be dialed back if Pickett has to come in? Let's say Jalen Hurts gets banged up and he's going in the back for x-rays for 2 quarters before he's cleared to come back, right? So that's part of the conversation. What does the backup quarterback mean moving forward? The other side of it is, I think that I would feel differently if the head coach was Andy Reid. This is not a diss on Nick Sirianni, but Sirianni himself is not a quarterback developer by nature. He is a guy whose background is as a really, really good receivers coach and as a really good culture guy. When Andy Reid and Doug Peterson were here, you look at those guys as guys who were really good at working with quarterbacks, developing quarterbacks. Andy Reid famously helped turn A.J. Feely and Kevin Cobb into valuable draft picks for this franchise. You have a franchise that during the Andy Reid years had numerous backups come in. And look at Doug Peterson, not just Nick Foles, but the fact that Doug Peterson was a guy that you looked at the way he handled Carson Wentz. And you looked at the way that, according to reports, Doug Peterson was one of the guys who wanted the team to draft Jalen Hurts. So Doug has an eye for quarterback talent. I don't know if that Sirianni is that kind of guy. So I don't know if Pickett is coming in. Now, I said all about Nick Sirianni. There's another guy in the building, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is a former quarterback, unlike Nick Sirianni. So are we looking at Pickett and saying it's less about Sirianni and it's more about Kellen Moore's ability to handle and develop and get his hands on him, because Kellen Moore himself was a career backup in the NFL with the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. So is Kellen Moore going to be the key to making Pickett a good backup for Philadelphia? Time will tell. So that's story number one with the Eagles. Number two, Josh Sweat recalibrating his deal, getting a renegotiation to save money against the cap. It's obvious that when a player does that, he wants to be here. And I think that's a good sign that Josh Sweat says, I understand that I had a down year. I understand that I need to prove that I am still a high-level pass rusher in this league. Because remember, Josh Sweat is a guy that even though he was second on the team in sacks last year, he took a huge dip in his stats across the board last year. He went from 11 sacks to 6.5. And by the way, he played one more game in 2023 versus 2022. And he had less sacks. He played one more game. He had fewer tackles. He played one more game and he had fewer tackles for loss. I mean, it's absolutely wild that this guy went from being this, look at him coming into his own. Look at Josh Sweat elevating, right? His career was one of he got better each year. 2020, he had 6 sacks. 2021, 7.5. 2022, 11. He was ascending. He went from 12 to 13 to 23 quarterback hits. So I think that he had an honest conversation. He said, look, I understand that me and the whole team had a rough year last year, so I need to show that I want to be here. And he'll get his money. The Eagles take care of their guys. I guarantee you that if Josh Sweat goes out there, there's another double-digit sack year in 2024, they'll come back and recalibrate that contract somehow again to help get him his money somehow, some way, because that's who the Eagles are. And then the third quick item on the Eagles I want to touch on real quick before I get to the text board at 609-403-0973 is CJ Gardner-Johnson spoke to the media today, and he had some interesting comments about coming back to the Eagles. This was CJ Gardner-Johnson when he was asked about why he wanted to come back to Philadelphia.
Take your feelings out of it and just willing to be a man about certain things, and accept certain things as a man. So I think right now coming back was like, how can I say, a relief. Because I know I'm familiar with the people here, with the place, and I'm comfortable, if that makes sense.
He also went on to say that the injury he went through last year actually helped him become the person that he is today.
I learned myself. I figured out, ball isn't always about you. It's about 50 other guys out there, the front office. So getting hurt and taking a step back and not being the focal point, they realize I'm part of something better and greater. I want to be part of something greater and better than the one I'm at. That makes sense. I want to be able to take that next step.
That is incredible perspective from a young man who had been accused in the past by people around the league that about he was a immature guy. There were issues with him in the locker room. Listen, there were a lot of accusations of CJ Gardner-Johnson during his time at the University of Florida. Sorry, I forgot that for a minute. I saw the uniform. I forgot what team I was talking. I saw the Florida Gator blue, and I forgot what it was for a minute in my mind's eye. But when he was at the University of Florida, when he was in New Orleans, there were accusations about him not being a great teammate. And it was a bit of an ugly divorce. It was an ugly breakup when he left Philadelphia last year. He wanted a certain dollar amount. The Eagles were not willing to give him that dollar amount. He had to take less than what he wanted to go to Detroit. He got injured. He said the injury helped give him perspective. He talked about how I had to learn that it was about more than just me. And he said, I want to be in Philadelphia because I'm comfortable here. I want to come back. I want to be a part of something bigger than me. Man, if that's the kind of perspective that we are getting from him coming back to Philadelphia, if that mentality that you heard from CJ Gardner-Johnson today, talking about why he came back to Philadelphia for that new 3-year deal, I am promising you guys right now, you thought CJ Gardner-Johnson was good in 2022, better this year. A young man who has that kind of epiphany, a young man who has that kind of moment where he realizes I needed to grow up, I needed to get myself together, I need to refocus, and now I am refocused. He said in the press conference that he's changing his number to Kobe Bryant because he's embracing that Mamba mentality. If that is his mentality, and he was already an elite, gifted, athletic, special talent of a football player, and now he's going to bring the mental side of potentially being great to now on the field to combine with his physical gifts. You may see the best safety in football in the Eagles uniform next year. I'm telling you right now, a young man who has that kind of mental light bulb go off in his mind. Let me tell you guys something. As someone myself who has had my own moments of having to have introspection and knowing other people who have had their moments of where the light goes off in your mind when there's always something that happens in your 20s or early 30s for a lot of people, whether you hit rock bottom, something happens in your life, and you start looking at the world through a different lens, and you're never the same. Your work life becomes better. Your personal life becomes better. You grow as a human being. That young man has grown as a human being. And I'm telling you guys right now, if that's the mentality he's bringing to this Philadelphia Eagles team next year, he is going to be potentially, if not the best, one of the best safeties in all of football. All right. Text board is popping. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank Seattle. Shaner and EHT, Jeff in Summers Point, George in Summers Point. Get to all your texts and more coming up on the other side as we are going to rapid fire through everyone's texts as we are only here for a half hour for Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
It's Sixers Hornets tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
On the left side, Buddy Hield on the drive into the lane, left-hand layup, up and goes. Buddy Hield scores a layup.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball.
Hammers it in. Are you kidding me? He rocks the rim with a right-hand jam.
97.3 ESPN.
Hi, this is Brighton Richards from Apex East Roofing. You know, the blonde-haired girl in the pink truck. We are the first and only certified fortified roofer in New Jersey, able to install hurricane, wind, and hail-secured roofs. The spring is the perfect time of year to get these roofs installed so that you're prepared for the upcoming hurricane season. Certified fortified roofs can also lower your insurance premiums. For more info, visit apexeastroofing.com.
Get a price on your roof in 30 seconds at apexeastroofing.com.
It's not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
I feel good.
Dad, are you singing to your cereal?
Yes, I am, like I knew that I would.
No, a dance too?
Come on, Ava. Silk almond milk starts the morning on a high note. Yeah.
Songs, dances, and dad jokes.
So good. So good. I got you.
Silk almond milk.
With calcium, vitamins A, D, and E.
Feel plenty good.
2 for $222. 2 for $222. Drive home 2 new Kias at Matt Black Kia for just $222 per month. For the first time, get 2 new Kias for $222 at Matt Black Kia, where you can get a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for just $111 per month lease with 0 security deposit and just $39.95 due at signing. With a price like that, why not get 2 for $222? That's a brand new 2024 Kia Forte, 24-month lease for $111 per month, or drive home 2 for $222. Both with Matt Black Kia's exclusive 4-day loan relief and return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details, or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. 24 months, $27 per month, 10,000 miles per year. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 4/2/24. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Hey, Boost Mobile here to help you start from scratch. Boost is giving you the chance to win incredible prizes in our latest scratch-off sweepstakes, including up to $5,000 cash, with over 7,600 prizes up for grabs. This is an opportunity you don't want to miss. For your chance to win, just head to your local participating Boost Mobile store and ask for a scratcher. It's that easy. So visit a Boost Mobile store today and get after it. Ends 3/31/24 while supplies last. No purchase necessary. Other restrictions apply. Visit your local Boost Mobile store for details.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, as promised, you guys, messages coming in on the text board, 609-403-0973, and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Shaner in EHT chimes in on the text board and says, you know what they say about small hands, small gloves, 2 of them for Kenny Gloves Pickett, says Shaner in EHT. I guess good for him. Whatever for us. Huntley was the call for me, or old man Tannehill, maybe. It's from Shaner in EHT. Couple things, Shaner. One, according to a lot of people who cover the Eagles had a very high draft grade on Kenny Pickett. So there must be something about whether it is his mental aptitude or his skill set that appeals to the Eagles organization. look, I wrote about this at 973ESPN.com last night that, Tyler Huntley, he had 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in his starts for Baltimore. And I'm not a fan of a guy who has trouble not turning the ball over. For as much as people want to accuse people like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen for being turnover-prone quarterbacks, I'm not interested in my backup quarterback also being that guy. I think Huntley was a little overrated and was a byproduct of an offense that allowed the quarterback to do a lot of off-schedule plays. To me, Tannehill was the answer because he was an experienced quarterback. He had played for, I believe it was either 8 or 9 different offensive coordinators. He is somebody who has seen a ton of different offenses, a ton of different defenses. I think he would have been a great pick. But for whatever reason, Shane or NHC, the Eagles organization in their draft evaluation of Kenny Pickett said this is a guy that if we could get an opportunity to get at some point, we would take him on. So that's a big reason why he is here. What does it mean for us? If Kellen Moore is as good of an offensive coordinator as we think he is, remember, he got guys like Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci to be serviceable players. And if we assume that Kenny Pickett is better than both Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci, I think Kenny Pickett should be a more than serviceable backup quarterback. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Jeff Summers Point says, Josh doing a few Bud Light limes with the cover fireballs. It's beautiful outside. The Eagles are looking great. I like all the moves, but they need to keep Reddick, though. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's from Jeff in Summers Point. First of all, is it a little early in the year for a Bud Light lime? Like, I understand the weather's nice out. Was nicer out this whole week, actually, than it has been in recent weeks, but I feel like Bud Light Lime is like you go to your buddy's house and it's like June 28th and you're like, I want something cool and I want something to drink, and some of the other options that you have available are not so interesting. So I'll go with the Bud Light Lime. I feel like that's what the Bud Light Lime is. That's just my opinion. Jeff Summers Point, more power to you. Enjoy your Bud Light Limes. Enjoy your fireballs. I appreciate you texting in. I don't know if they're going to keep Reddick because the addition of Huff and the restructuring, I should say, of Josh Sweat's contract are probably signs that he's going to be gone. George from Summers Point chimes in and says, hey, Josh, what is Howie thinking of giving up a 3rd-round pick for Kenny Pickett? Does he know something nobody else in the NFL knows? George Summers Point, I think that is the theory I have right now because I know some people who cover the league say Devin White is not a great player. I know that a lot of people have a negative perspective on Kenny Pickett. So I'm going to go with the Eagles do know something that we don't know. And by the way, what the Eagles did is they actually gave up the 3rd-round pick was a late 3rd-round pick anyway. It was pick, I believe, 98. They got a 4th-round pick in return. So it was actually more of a pick swap and getting Kenny Pickett than anything else. So don't think of it as they gave up a 3rd-round pick for Kenny Pickett. They gave up a 3rd-round pick and 2 7th-round picks in next year's draft for Kenny Pickett and a 4th-round pick. So don't get hung up on that. Like I said, I think the Eagles evaluated him and think he's something different. All right, one more text to squeeze in here on the text board. Texter says, I like the move for the Jersey kid. People I know reaction is mixed with people I talk to, but he's young, has good arms, has starting experience. In my opinion, we got a 1st-round pick essentially for an early 4th-round pick. I mean, again, it's all about perspective. Jordan Summers Point says, we gave up a 3rd-round pick. The other texter says, you know what? We got a guy who's a 1st-round draft pick to be our backup quarterback. Perspective is everything sometimes in life. Sometimes you got to look at the same picture, the same angle from someone else's perspective, and you get a fuller picture. I'm sure there's a little psychological, in-depth conversation we can have about that, but I'm running out of time. I will be with Billy Schweim tomorrow morning in Marmora at Realty Remediation here on 97.3 ESPN, 10 a.m. to noon.
Hi, this is Billy Schwein. Join me and the Locker Room crew this Saturday morning as we broadcast live from the Office of Realty Remediation, located at 215 Route 9 in Marmora, New Jersey. Owners Steve and Rob invite you over for plenty of free food and drinks. Everyone who shows up between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. will automatically win one free pest control service, plus Phillies tickets, Blue Claw tickets, and more. Gotta be there to win. It's the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, live from Realty Remediation, Route 9 in Marmora, New Jersey, Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.